Then session 6 is working with difficult emotions. And we have a particular practice called, the practice called working with difficult emotions has 3 components: labeling emotions, finding them in the body, and then soften, soothe, allow. That's a kind of a magical formula: soften, soothe, allow. So when we find it in the body, then we soften that part of the body. We soothe that part of the body, as well as soothe our own hearts for suffering. And then we also create a lot of space, or allow it to be so. And we allow it to be so because this is part of the human condition. We create space for this, knowing that we too are human, and this is part of it. And in the second half of session 6, we go right into what some people consider the most juicy and meaningful part of the whole program, and that is working with shame. If self-compassion is nothing else, it is an antidote to shame. There are different ways of getting self-worth. One is through social approval, and the other is through the kindness that we can offer ourselves when we struggle. Shame is a social emotion. Shame means I'm imagining that you are imagining something bad about me. But if you don't care so much what other people think about you because you have this inner mechanism, in other words, you're being held by yourself as if by a dear friend. If you can nourish yourself and hold yourself, and then you're not so dependent on how other people think. And that's how it's an antidote to shame. And we do a very interesting thing. We talk about shame through the eyes of compassion. So there are some more paradoxes. Shame feels blameworthy, but it's actually innocent. Shame feels isolating, but it connects us to the rest of humanity. It's a universal emotion. Shame feels permanent, but it's actually a temporary state that only reflects a part of who we are. And we actually do exercises in which we feel this reality. But the most important thing is number 1, and that is that it is an innocent emotion. It does not feel innocent. When we fight with shame, it is anything but innocent. It starts wars. It makes us hurt ourselves and others and criticize and dissociate. Shame is the most difficult human emotion that we have because it hollows us out. There's nobody left to work with shame. Very difficult emotion, but with self-compassion, it is workable. And this is the trick. I'm just going to tell you right now. But you got to kind of have to feel this at some point. And that is that if shame were a coin, on the flip side of the coin would be the wish to be loved. Shame arises out of the wish to be loved. If you can imagine some time in your life when you felt some shame, like even now, thinking about it, not thinking of anything too intense, and then you turn the coin over and you say, I only feel like this because I just wish to be loved. Just as all beings in this world wish to be loved, so do I wish to be loved, and I just wanted to be loved. The wish to be loved is universal, and it drives the whole train of shame. But we have forgotten that we wish to be loved because we haven't been loved, and we've stopped thinking like it because it has hurt too much. But all of us wish to be loved. In fact, what connects us more than suffering in life, all of us, what connects us is the wish to be loved. We were born with a wish to be loved. We needed to be loved in order to survive, and we have forgotten. And because we've forgotten, we are so vulnerable to shame. But when we can reconnect with the wish to be loved, the universal wish to be loved, shame becomes workable. So we unpack this for people and let them feel that in their bodies.